Okay, next is module 5, that is remote sensing. This is the syllabus of remote sensing. Introduction. Remote sensing is a process of detecting and monitoring the physical characteristics of an area by measuring its reflected and emitted radiation at a distance from a targeted area. Okay, so here remote sensing is used to find out physical characteristics of an area, and how it is carried out. It is carried out by sending electromagnetic radiation from a targeted area, and these radiation strikes on the objects and reflected, and by collecting this reflected radiation we can find out the physical characteristics of that area. Okay. Remote sensing refers to the activities of recording or observing or perceiving or sensing objects or events at far away or remote places. Okay. Usually remote sensing technique is used to find out the characteristics of far away or remote places. Okay, it includes a variety of activities such as recording, observing, sensing or perceiving objects of that area and all. Okay. So next I will explain the pictorial representation of remote sensing technique. Okay. So here this is the energy source. Okay, and here from the energy source electromagnetic energy reaches the object of that area whose physical characteristics need to be found out, and some of this radiation get absorbed, some get transmitted and some get reflected, and this reflected energy is captured by using a sensor. The sensor can be mounted on a satellite. Here in this picture the sensor is mounted in a satellite. It can also be mounted on an aircraft. Okay. So here the sensor will capture all this reflected energy, okay, and send such and process it, okay, and it collect information from that energy, and this data is transferred to a ground station, and from the ground station this data is transferred to a multiple users. Usually the result of remote sensing technique will be an image. Okay. Then we can read. Remote sensing is a science of acquiring, processing and interpreting images that record the interaction between electromagnetic energy and matter. Here the matter is object. Okay. So because of the interaction of this electromagnetic energy and the object, okay, we can obtain images. Okay, we get images. I already told you that the result of remote sensing technique will be a image, and we can acquire it, process it and interpret those images in order to obtain the physical characteristics of that area. Okay. It is the acquisition of information without physically contacting the object being sensed. Okay. So here in remote sensing technique there is no physical contact between the there is no physical contact of this object of that ground. Okay. Here without physically contacting those objects we are getting information. Okay. Remote sensors are the sensors that collect data by detecting the energy that is reflected from the earth. Okay. So what are sensors? Here these sensors are also known as remote sensors. Here the remote sensors collect data by absorbing those reflected radiation from the object. Okay. In remote sensing, the sensors are not in direct contact with the objects or events being observed. I already explained to you. The information need a physical carrier to travel from the objects or events to the sensors through an intervening medium. So here the information from the object, okay, travel to the sensor through this reflected radiation, okay, through a medium. Okay. The electromagnetic radiation is normally used as an information carrier in remote sensing. So here this through this electromagnetic radiation the information about the object is transferred to the sensor. Okay. So here the medium is electromagnetic radiation. The output of a remote sensing system is usually an image representing the scene being observed. I already told you that output of the remote sensing will be in the form of an image. Okay. The further step of image analysis information from the image. The further step endana? The further step is we need to collect the maximum information from those image. Okay. the human visual system is an example of remote sensing system in its general sense. Okay, in a general sense, we can say that an example of remote sensing technique is human visual system itself. Okay,